What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode with my pal Alex and Feisty Pants.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Alex's Toy Show Q&A. It's Q&A 111. 111. What's up? WWE is Bay. I'm sure there's love for the WWE, and they're not calling it shit because Bay means shit in Danish. Who said this show wasn't educational? Wants to know, if you could hang out with one superstar and one diva for a day, who would it be? It would be Paige. And it wouldn't even matter. Paige for a day, and then I'd be like, so, what are you doing for the rest of your life? J Spies wants to know, if you could have one match, who would it be and what kind of match? It would be with Trish. And it would be a no-holds-barred something kind of match. And it would be awesome. David Griffin wants to know a billion questions. David is awesome for throwing out like 10 solid questions in an effort to know more about Alex at Alex's Toy Show and Feisty Pants. So David comes out and he wants to know, what's my favorite video game to play in the 90s? It is my favorite video game to play currently. Here's a little trivia, see if you can figure it out. My opinion on the legendary host of Double Dare, Mark Summers. I'm sure he's a good guy. Sorry, I'm parked at the post office and this gorgeous chick just walked by. Hello. I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't recall watching though. I mean, I remember it being on TV, but I didn't watch it, so I don't know. Which two members would you bring to the team for Family Double Dare? And what would be your, me and these guys would be my team name. Two members would probably be both my brothers. Your thoughts on Sasha Banks winning the title on Raw a couple weeks ago? Yeah, it was great. I'm sick and tired of looking at Charlotte, and she's kind of boring. And she carries on. And not only does she carries on in that whining sense, like, I am the greatest ladies champion of all time, all the time. And she's annoying as shit. And I'm happy Sasha won it. Now, would I love for Sasha to be a long reigning champ? Absolutely. Do I think she's going to have a long career in WWE? Probably. Do I think she's going to have a long wrestling career? Probably not. The way she dives out into the floor area, dude, she's going to break her neck off. Like, she's great, don't get me wrong. She's a great wrestler, great ladies wrestler. I love her to death, but she just takes these dives, and her neck goes like this, and she lands on her back like that, and it's like, and you thought she was dead, but she gets up. All right. Which Raw and SmackDown stars would you manage, and why? I don't know. Why do I need to manage anybody? I don't know. Do you think Lex Luger should be in the Hall of Fame despite the Miss Elizabeth murder years ago? Absolutely not. I think he needs to be in jail, and how he's not in jail is beyond me. My mind is blown. And I don't understand how, you have a lady in your hotel room, she ends up dead, and you don't go to jail. Who else did it? The ghost in the room? I don't think so. What was your most hated Pokemon when the series started? All of them. I never got into it because, I was older and an adult at the time. And it was just something that never appealed to me in the first place. And I saw these kids coming in to buy cards at the store while I was working, wherever, and I worked at a couple places that sold cards over the years. And I'm like, man, these kids are just throwing their money away. And, like baseball cards back in the day, they could be worth, there was a sense that it could be worth something. But I never figured out how Pokemon cards could turn into value over the years. And I'm like, like, parents are just letting their kids just sink money into these cards. And I'm like, I swear I'm never going to let my kids, if I, you know, when I had them at the time, get into Pokemon cards. And I'm always going to try to turn them away, like, oh, yeah, but there's other things we could get. Let's do something else. So, you know, I end up having one kid, Feisty Pants. I go to pick him up after school one day, and he goes, Daddy, I got Pokemon cards. Everybody's got Pokemon cards. And then here's mine. And I'm like, oh. But despite that I hate them all, he loves them. And I love that he loves them. It's something I don't even care. And now I understand why parents would let their kids sink their money into Pokemon cards. I get it now. It's understandable. And there you go. How about that? David would also like to know, how long do you think Mick, Foley, and Stephanie will work together? I think for the better part of the year, until next year's draft, and see what happens. Nick Foley is signed on with the WWE. He's not going anywhere. There's no reason for him to go anywhere. What do you think? What do you love about Scotland? There's a lot of things I love about Scotland. It's part of my heritage. I'm part Irish, so I'm told. You know, I mean, you know, you see these commercials on Ancestry.com about, like, this guy thought he was German this whole time, and then he turns out he's Irish, or vice versa. So it's like, I really want to try that out and find out where my roots are. Is it really Irish? Is it really Scottish? I don't know, but Scotland's a nice country. I want to go visit one day. I got a lot of fans from Scotland, all y'all. I'll come see you guys. If Major League Baseball reaches its 100th season, do you think people will bring out gold baseballs to play their game? Dude, I don't know if you know, but Major League Baseball has been around since, like, the 1800s. I'm just saying. You do a little math, that's a little more than 100. Joe's channel wants to know, how did you first come to watch wrestling in the WWE? Okay, Joe, back in the day, back in the 80s, there was this thing called Saturday morning cartoons. Like at 6 in the morning on Saturday, up until about like noontime, when, like, you know, we would watch The Price is Right, and, you know, other game shows came on after that. But then there was wrestling at like 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon. I forget the time, but it was definitely in the afternoon on Saturdays. And, you know, we would watch it because it was on, and that was something to do. And, you know, you didn't always have your friends around. Most of the time you went out and played, because, I mean, who wants to sit around and watch TV all day long? You want to go out and you want to do something. So a couple years go by, and one of my mom's friends, my parents' friends, are like, hey, we got tickets to go see this wrestling show, blah, blah, blah. Do the kids want to go? You know, we take the kids off your hands for a night. So we went. So me and my brothers, we went with our parents' friends, and we saw WCW. I believe it was WCW. What was it? War Games? War Games. I want to say it was War Games, and we loved it. So then, after watching War Games, we're like, we didn't realize there were separate leagues, you know? We're like, oh, this is the wrestling we watch on TV. So we kind of just watched that a lot. That's how we got hooked on it. And there you go. And then fast forward to today. At Bear Johnny wants to know, where do you work this week? I work at the post office sorting mail. If you guys have something you want to send to the fan mail, then I'll just, like, pick it right out of the pile. This is where you want to send it to. Alex's Toy Show, P.O. Box 13, Bayville, New Jersey, 08721. That's my pay for the week. I get to take home my fan mail. Oh, I can't stand it. At Troy, the Colts fan, have you watched Mr. Robot? You know, it looks like a really good series. There's like 4 other shows that are on at that time that I watch at DVR, so I kind of lose out on Mr. Robot. But I watched it back in like a marathon. It was really good, I thought. Really well written. Mikey Rice wants to know, do you have baseball autographs, and who? You know what? I didn't get a chance to go through all my cards of, like, autographs. Aside from all the Andy Van Slyke autographs, I know I have a Barry Sanders autograph from, you know, he played football for the Lions back in the day. And I had a Wade Boggs autographed 8x10, but I probably still have it. I don't know. A lot of autographs that I had over the years, I kind of just parted ways with when I got rid of all my cards, and I gave it all to my buddy Randy, who ran a baseball card store up the road from one place I lived where I was moving. And I'm like, Randy, look, I have all this baseball stuff. I just don't want to take it with me anymore. And he's like, yeah, I'll take it off you. So I didn't even, you know, I just like, here you go. So I got rid of it all. But I had a lot. I had a lot of memorabilia back in the day. And to wrap up Q&A, I was talking with Jono earlier in the week, and he wants to know what's the Jose Canseco story, because his favorite player is Nolan Ryan. I think we're losing daylight here. I think it's about to pour. That's not really any better. Alright, I guess so. We'll wrap this up before it downpours. Wow, it looks really bad out there. Alright, so Jose Canseco wrote a book, you know, because he got shafted by Major League Baseball for taking steroids, basically. Nobody signed him after his last contract. He thought he was going to get signed, you know, free agency, blah, blah, blah. Instead, he just drifted out to pasture and didn't even make it into the Hall of Fame and, you know, done, right? So he writes a book about him and everybody else who's on steroids. And in that book, he said, he didn't name the Hall of Famer who's already in the Hall of Fame at the time. But he did say there is an established Hall of Famer who took steroids that he played with, and it would just be earth-shattering if he said who it was. So me and my brother, being the detectives we are, we're trying to figure out who's already in the Hall of Fame when the book was published, and we narrowed it down to Nolan Ryan. Who, I mean, you know, because if you look at all these different players, they're like, oh, okay, well, you know, he played with this guy, he played with that guy, but this guy's not in the Hall of Fame, this guy is retired, but not in the, and we're like, oh, could it be Nolan Ryan? Now, you knowing, Jono, you knowing Nolan Ryan like the back of your hand, right? What 40-year-old pitcher goes from like 100 strikeouts a year to like 250, right? I mean, if you look at his stats over the years and compare it next to like Palmeiro and Canseco and who was another one, Juan Gonzalez, you know, it's a couple of years apart, and you could see like a rise and like a peak, and then like a, you know, like his last year he was like 5-10 or something like that, win-loss record. He didn't strike out 100 batters the very last year, maybe last 2 years he played. You know, look at Clemens' stats, Roger Clemens, and you can see, you know, where Nolan Ryan's numbers just all of a sudden peak. You know, he says he trained. I believe him until there's proof otherwise. It says he used steroids, but I mean, he was in the Texas organization. Texas was like handed out steroids like on like bobblehead day, you know, and I mean, you know, it's a theory. That's our conspiracy theory. Conspiracy, C-O-N-spiracy. Who remembers that episode of Raw with R-Truth when he was trying to get over? And he's like, conspiracy against me and the title shot and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we think it's Nolan Ryan named. Read Canseco's book. Let me know what you think. And that's that. Now, guys, Q&A. I do the questions every Sunday. You leave the questions in the comments. I write them down like this, and I answer them every Sunday. Fan mail, I showed you the address before. How about I link the most important part of the show? That way, when you have questions about the show, it's like, oh, hey, here's the most important part of Alex's Toy Show. And now I know. And knowing is half the battle. Pokemon Home!